trunks, they ever ready. Assault and battery, if you scared, you never ready.
Alright, this video is going to be about John Cena, Mr. Superman, the Terminator, the unstoppable force of the WWE, is making his return at Hell in a Cell, and I'm just going to give my thoughts on pretty much everything that's been going down with him over the past couple months, when it seems like WWE was at its hottest point it's been in a long time, where you had John Cena, who was the top star, you had Brock Lesnar, you had CM Punk, you had Daniel Bryan, who was on his ascension to the top. Out of nowhere, John Cena kind of has to step down as that main guy and kind of let Daniel Bryan take over, let Orton take over, let CM Punk kind of not take over, but have a vital role as kind of the upper mid-card guy during that time. But now that Cena's back, a lot of people are kind of wondering, like, where does that leave Daniel Bryan? Where does that leave The Big Show? Where does that leave CM Punk? When Cena comes back, you know that he'll always be that top guy. He can be in the opening match like he was at Great American Bash against JBL, but in the fans' mind, John Cena is the number one guy. When he's gone, you kind of have someone else to really look at as the number one guy. And for me, Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton were kind of fighting for that spot of being number one, but the fact that there was no champion to really symbolize that guy who's number one, who was really the top guy, there was none. It's weird to say because, Cena left, they didn't even bother putting the belt on anyone. They just, will leave it vacant until the big guy, big man Cena comes back. All due respect to Cena, you watch those videos and you see the guy training while injured, training when he's not supposed to be, doing Olympic lifts with just after tricep surgery. It's incredible to see that a guy can be so driven and just so passionate about wrestling and being in front of the crowds and traveling and being on the road to even put himself through that. You got a bunch of guys, even the CM Punk DVD, I think it was Kofi Kingston or Kurt Hawkins mentioned that when they're looking for guys to do matches on Superstars, you'll see a lot of guys in the back who'll kind of hide behind a crate or kind of put their head down and not get picked, where you compare that to what John Cena's doing. This guy was supposed to be out until at least January, and 2 months later, he's already saying he's back, he's 100%, and he's ready to go. Pretty much pick up where he left off, and you don't see passion like that. I was just listening to Lance Storm, who was on MLW. This is another example of just passion for wrestling. Stone Cold Steve Austin, while on a European tour, took a double chokeslam from Undertaker and Kane. And when he didn't have to, he was sitting in the back and he saw the crowd was popping, and he's like, how cool would it be for me to get double chokeslam by those guys? Because this was during the Alliance time. So Austin, what does Austin do? He says, hey, Chris Jericho, hold my watch. He gives Jericho his watch, goes out there, takes a double chokeslam, sells it on his way back to the, up the ramp to the backstage, comes back, sits back down, gets his watch back. Thanks, Chris. That was pretty, whatever. Things like that. And Lance was mentioning that a lot of wrestlers were going through their lawyers and not even wanting to get on the plane. And you have a guy like Steve Austin, who's just, from the very get-go, I think it's very well documented that Steve Austin is one of the most passionate guys when it came to his job. Cena, as much as people don't like comparing Cena and Austin, Cena's right there on the top of that list with him. The guy's been on top for so long. The guy's managed to stay on top. And in the world of wrestling, longevity is key. And when you look at Cena, he's been on top longer than Rock, Brock, and Austin combined. So take that for what it's worth. And we'll see at Hell in a Cell. I can see him winning. I can see him feuding with Daniel Bryan. Maybe that's a champion versus champion that's going to matter. And I remember the last few, you had CM Punk versus Del Rio, which was, it was fine. You had Cena versus Del Rio, which you've seen a bunch of times before. But a Cena and Bryan match is great as it is, but when you put the whole stake of champion versus champion, that makes it even bigger. And if you even want to unify those titles, that's an even bigger match. So we'll see how that goes. I'm expecting Cena to fully come back and win. People were saying maybe a Damian Sandow cash, but I doubt that highly. But we'll see. It's I don't want to say it's great to see Cena back, because to me, I didn't have a chance to miss him. He's been gone for 2 months, and things are really... you saw Raw kind of going a different way. You saw a bunch of guys who you typically wouldn't see in the main events, such as Cody Rhodes, and you saw a lot of Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton. But besides that, you got to see Cody Rhodes kind of come out of the spotlight, into the spotlight. Sorry, it's either going to be back to square one, or you can see, you know, maybe they'll keep going. But for me, I think Cena as world champion, it's going to make that that title legitimate again in a way, and it might give guys going for the WWE championship more of a leeway, more of a push, because we all know that the WWE title is here and the world title is kind of down here now. So you kind of want to bring those on a level, and a guy like Cena holding it can definitely bring that two on the same level. Yeah, so that's my thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next video.